Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to analyze Pinery, which is also a very exciting launch happening in
the lovely neighborhood of Tampines West, which is actually where we are currently living in also.
Okay, so do remember to like and subscribe to our channel so that we can continue doing more such content for you.
Okay, so let's begin. This is the list of content we are going through today. So of course, we are going to run through the project specifics, and then secondly, we are going to address some of the very common questions that we're hearing from the ground in depth. Then of course, we move on to unit type analysis and conclusion. Okay, so let's jump straight into the project specifics. Pinery is going to be located at Tampines Street 94. It's going to be linked to the Tampines West MRT, that is the blue downtown line, right? And it's going to be 6 blocks of 14 stories. There's going to be 588 units. So this is actually a mixed development whereby downstairs level 1 is actually going to be a commercial space, more than 10,000 square meters of commercial space, mostly made up of F&B. So there's going to be a lot of food options, and also you will have supermarket and childcare center. So all these shops, they are not for sale, meaning they are going to be directly managed by the developer itself. So I believe we can expect great tenant mix. In terms of TOP, expected TOP is going to be about 2030, so about 4 years from now. So of course, it's a 99-year leasehold project, and then in terms of car park lots, there's going to be 474 car park lots for residents. That is about 80% the number of residential units. And you are going to have another 164 of your commercial parking units for people who are just coming to the mall. And for this mixed development, we know that the entrance for the normal commercial and residents are going to be separated. Same for the car park entrances. Okay,
So these are some of the developments done up by Hoi Hub themselves. We can see some very familiar names such as Continuum, Key Residence, Park Central Residences, which is also where we are currently staying.
It's EC.
Yes,
Yep.
and there are some of the other projects done by MCL. So why MCL is because just a few months back in September 2025, it was acquired by Sunway Group. Okay, just for knowledge. Okay, so in terms of the past project performance, these are just some of the projects we have pulled out as well. So there will be Key Residences at Leiden Green, as well as Arc at Tampines. We can see that even in the resale market, all of the projects also have done really well.
Yeah, lots of profitable transactions as well. Okay, so in terms of location, it is located at Tampines Street 94, which is, of course, you are going to have a direct underground linkway, 24 hours linkway to Tampines West MRT, which is on the blue line. You are just a few stops to Expo, where Changi Business Park is. So we can expect lots of demand in terms of rental and office workers from here as well. Then the other direction of the blue line is, of course, quite convenient to your CBD downtown area if you work there. All right. And then in terms of food options, shopping other than what you are going to have in Pinery Mall itself, you are going to have within walking distance, Safra Tampines Round Market is a really large hawker center, and you have wet market options as well. And of course, education, your St. Hilda Primary School, Secondary School within 1 km, and also Temasek Polytechnic is very near as well.
And also don't forget our coffee shop that we always go for, Carrot Cake, which is directly opposite Pinery.
Yeah, it's like less than a 10 minutes walk somewhere here, T West. There's a very nice carrot cake that Sean loves.
Okay.
At the kopitiam. Okay, this is a map in terms of the demographic of the area. You can see that all these orange areas, right? The orange areas, they are actually all residential zone. So all of this, there are actually lots of HDB around you, right? And you are here, Pinery is here. Okay, and then you have another plot here. This plot is going to be your upcoming Rivelle EC. Okay, currently preview is ongoing as well. So you are just one row across each other. And then in terms of private condos nearby, right, of course we have Treasure at Tampines, which is over here. In terms of walking distance, is still quite a fair bit, 15 to 20 minutes from Treasure to Tampines to over here, Pinery or the MRT. And then the rest of the condos in the region are mostly concentrated here, Avenue 10. Okay, there's quite a number of the condos over here. So when Pinery TOP in 2030, right, actually out of all these condos, only 3 of them will be under 10 or less than 10 years old, which is your Treasure at Tampines, Park Central, which is EC, by then MOP already, and also Tapestry. So the rest of it, right, they are going to be more than 10 years old. Then, of course, you have your Pinery and Rivelle.
All right, so coming to the site plan of Pinery itself, you can see that it's a very nice and big plot. All the units here are north-south facing, which also means that every unit will have very good cross ventilation.
Yeah.
We can see that there are a total of 6 blocks here. Total number of units 588, and every floor the max will be capped at level 14. Now we can also see that every block to block distance is quite far, which is good. The closest will be from block 34 to 30, which is a distance of 17 meters, and from block 26 to 6 is of 46 meters. Now, one thing to take note is that all the external facing of Pinery will be facing towards the HDB view. Only for block 924, potentially will face towards the new greenery park. So on my top left-hand corner, which is here, will be where the MRT is as well. Okay? Great. Moving on.
So in terms of key features, it's a very packed slide here, you can see. So of course, there's many good points about this project. We are not going to go into too much detail. In fact, just now I've mentioned quite a bit already. If you want this full list, feel free to DM us, text us, and we will send you the full brochure. Or better still, just come down to the show flat, experience it for yourself, understand the entire surrounding. If you are not that familiar with this area, Tampines West is actually a very bustling place to be. And of course, here we just have some artist impressions. So the vibe that they are going for here is really towards elegance and simplicity. So it's going to be a very zen lifestyle and yet very classy and elegant.
Awesome.
Here we have the unit mix.
So now we run into the unit mix, we can see that there is clearly no one bedroom. The smallest starts from the 2-bed, 2-bath, all the way to 5 bedrooms from here. 2 bedrooms percentage-wise is 43, which is rather high. But in such a situation, I think it's also smart for the developer because they know the surrounding direct competitor will be
Rivelle.
And Rivelle EC, smallest bedroom type will start from 3 bedrooms and above. So with Pinery 2-bed, 2-bath, this will probably fit inside the supply as well.
Within the area, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And also, we do expect a fair share of rental demand coming in from the office area, especially the Changi Business Park and the airport. People who work at airport like air stewardess, etc. Right?
And of course, we're going into the 3 bedrooms. 3 bedrooms, there's a total of 35% of 3 bedrooms and a total of 7 layouts. So later we will deep dive into the different layouts and share with you which is actually our top pick out of all the 7. So for the 4 rooms total, there's 20%, and of course lastly will be the 5 bedroom, which is only 2%. So overall with this, we can also see that it's a very good unit mix because it also caters to some investors and also more towards the family as well.
There's something for everyone.
Yes. Okay, next.
Okay, then here is the unit distribution. Of course, quite straightforward. Every stack is just one unit type. And we have clearly labeled all the view facing here. In terms of view, maybe the inward facing ones, your pool facing, garden facing, and those that are facing the upcoming new park is slightly, maybe we call a better view as compared to, of course, the other HDB views. So we will go through this later, but depending on where developers place their premium, right? If the premium is on view, then this is what we are talking about in terms of view. It will be your pool view, the garden view, okay? Because ultimately this is still within like a heartland kind of place that isn't your sea view, river view, the likes of River Modern or Vela Bay. Now we are done with the project information. We go into the second part of our analysis today, which is a bunch of common questions that we actually have been hearing from the ground as we speak to people. These are some of the top questions that we are hearing.
Yes. So we are here to address all of them together.
In depth, okay, we will break it down one by one.
Okay.
So of course, is it too expensive in terms of pricing? Is there oversupply? Being a mixed D, will it do well? And of course, Rivelle EC, they are previewing in the same period. They are going to TOB around the same period. Do we have to be worried? Okay, so let's dive in. Okay, first.
The question is it too expensive? So to me, too expensive is actually a very surface question because how do we actually determine what is at the right price? To say that it is too expensive. Right. So to answer this, firstly, I break it down into 3 questions. The first question will be, what are the upcoming prices going to look like moving forward? Second will be, does the price make sense against the comparatives? And lastly, are we picking the right value unit?
Yes.
Now, of course, within the development, there are going to be units that are cheaper and some is going to be with more premium. But the question is, how do we identify those units and select the right unit so that it puts us at a better position when it comes to our exit?
This is what we call like the sweet spot.
So we can see from here, what is going to happen down the road in Q3 to next year onwards. The future price are, number 1, for Hougang area, the developer has already bought the land at 1,179. For Bedok Rise, developer already bought at 1,330. So what does it mean? For Pinery itself, the PSF, the developer bought it at $1,004, and now they are already launching at approximately with a gauge of about $2,450 starting from, we do not know yet. But from here, we can clearly see one thing. Buy 1,100, sell 2,450. So my question is, if the developer were to buy 1,179, how much do they need to sell or potentially sell? If buy 1,330, how much could they potentially sell? And this area will be places at Hougang and also at Bedok. So can we also clearly see one thing, that in future down in the OCR area, the prices should potentially touch around 2006 to 2007 in Bedok and Hougang. And it's no surprise to that because the developer have already bought the land at this price.
The land price will not change one.
Correct. And
They
all these are
already
actually
committed to the cost.
leading indicators to show you what is going to happen down the road. By understanding all this pricing and land price, right, it actually helps us as a buyer to better position ourselves currently today if we are looking at a property. Okay. Next, for the comparison, we will be using Parktown. Why Parktown? Because Parktown was just recently sold about 1 year ago.
Yes.
And it's the closest towards Pinery as well.
It's also an integrated mixed-D development, so very, very similar product offering. Yeah.
And we can see that from here, the PSF average transacted in Parktown has already crossed about $2,200 to $2,400. In terms of the higher end range, buyers have already paid $2,600 range already. And we can also see from here that first day launch is 87% sold.
Yeah.
87% sold on an average price of this kind of pricing, which also means that in this area of Tampines, buyers are already accepting this kind of price tag already.
Yeah. So the max price here, we are looking at like 2.6, right? And we just want to highlight that there's actually a range of units that are transacting at these prices. So it's not like only 1 or 2 units selling at a very high record price of 2.5 or 2.6. It's not like that. There's actually a range of units selling at this price.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like setting a new benchmark for this area. Okay?
All right.
Okay, and now we go on to the third factor, which is what we call the developer pricing strategy. This is something that we have elaborated in depth in our previous analysis video for Rivelle Modern. So you can give it a watch as well if you are not familiar with this concept, because we are going to run through it this time round in a quicker manner. Okay, so in terms of developer pricing strategy, when we talk about this, right, we want to understand 2 factors. Okay, firstly, we want to know what is the USP of the project, unique selling point.
Yes.
So let's say for Pinery, what is the USP?
Will be, of course, close to MRT, right in front of MRT.
Yeah, because
Convenience?
it's a mixed D, right, linked to the MRT. So convenience is a big thing. What's the difference between Pinery and your next closest neighbor, let's say Treasure at Tampines? It's definitely your convenience to the MRT station, right? Because even for Treasure, you need to walk quite a bit over, then you reach the MRT. And compared to those condos that are at Avenue 10 just now we saw, right, you actually need to take a bus or walk quite a far distance to come down to the MRT. Okay, so the MRT access is actually very critical for this project. It is a big highlight in terms of the USP. Okay, and then secondly, where are the premiums placed? So in terms of premium, right, in our previous video, we kind of explained that is like the marketing strategy of the developer. They can choose whether they want to load the premium on per floor jump,
Views.
unit mix, view. So taking in mind the USP of the project, which is convenience, and that actually maybe translates to the blocks that are closer to the MRT entrance, right? And understanding the premium, which is on launch day when you see the full price list, right? Understanding which units are loaded with lots of premium, right? Then it's a balancing act as to whether are you fully capitalizing on the USP of the project while not overpaying. This is what we mean by selecting the right value unit. Like Sean mentioned just now, there's going to be the cheaper units, more expensive units. So where is the sweet spot? Okay, so come to the USP. So like we mentioned, because the MRT access is likely the key highlight. People buying in here, they want like utmost convenience. Otherwise,
probably closest to the MRT.
Yeah, so the blocks that are closer to the MRT, because the MRT access is here, right? So they are definitely more convenient, whereby you just press the lift, go all the way down, then you are just 30 seconds to the MRT already. So in terms of USP, maybe we can say that the blocks that are closer to the MRT have a slightly more convenience, or maybe also this block that is close to food court, because food and MRT is something that maybe you go to every day. That is maybe like your block 930, 932, maybe 926 lah. Okay, so for example, in terms of your smaller 2-bedders, right? Of course, 2-bedders, you have quite a few stacks across the whole development. So let's say if the premium loading is on view, meaning let's say the park, outside park, has the highest premium, more expensive than the 2 bedrooms in the stacks that are closer to the MRT. then which one do we go for?
Not the premium view. We can go for the less premium view but higher floor.
And closer to MRT.
Closer to
So
MRT.
that you still fully enjoy the USP of the project. You are closest to the MRT, utmost convenience, and then not so much premium.
Yeah.
Okay. At this point, we do not know as to what strategy the developer will be adopting. So how do we know is that on the launch day itself, right? Once the full price list is released in the morning, then we need to quickly have a look and then see where are the premiums loaded.
Yep.
So interestingly, for Rivelle Modern that just happened, right? Of course, the view units have the view premium, right?
Yep.
And then actually, I noticed that they did load quite a bit on the per floor jump.
The lowest to the highest for similar bedroom type, right, was close to 500,000.
Yeah, can be as much as 500,000. So in this case, right, it means that the per floor jump, it was quite aggressive. Then do we want to go for like the super high floor or not? Then we also noticed that they did like every 5 level, they had a significant jump. So of course, where is the sweet spot will be before the next big jump.
And also
while
ensure that we have to buy into the unique selling point of the project, but probably don't need to go for a very high floor, we go for a low floor. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's do a scenario analysis for Pinery itself using this same strategy. If today the developer is going to load the premium on the per floor jump, now then where should we buy?
Okay, so if the premium is in per floor jump, then definitely we do not need to go that high.
Low to mid floor?
Okay, and if the premium is on per floor and not really unit type and not really on view, then maybe we can go for like the inward facing or the park facing.
So a better facing.
And then unit type can go bigger unit.
Probably a slightly bigger unit. So
Yeah, but of course, all of these need to be within your budget
Budget.
and your needs for the development.
Yes.
But this is just like a guiding thing.
Okay.
Oh, and if possible, near to MRT access lah.
so that we also hit the unique selling point of this project.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now next, today if the developer is going to load the premium on the unit type, then what should we be going for?
Meaning
Where's
the
the sweet
bigger,
spot?
meaning the bigger unit type PSF will be higher. So maybe
Yes.
the 5-bedroom PSF is much higher than the 2-bedroom PSF.
So in this situation,
Then
we should go for
we can go for the
slightly smaller. So for example, right, let's say we are looking at a 3-bedroom. It's not necessary to buy the bigger 3-bedroom per se. We can buy a smaller size 3-bedroom, but we go for a higher floor and a better view.
So mid floor
Mid
lah.
to high floor, yes.
And then
Better view.
Yes.
Means either you face towards the pool facing or whichever.
or like the park view outside.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, lastly, will be today if the developer place the premium on the view, then where should we go for?
Can go for a bigger size.
Yes. And slightly higher floor also.
If the per floor jump is not that aggressive, can go higher floor. But sometimes, of course, the developer will combine strategies lah.
Yes.
So for example, like the Rivelle Modern example, right? View got loading and then per floor also got loading. Then we don't go so high floor. So it's quite situational also.
Yes.
Right? And then view premium, of course, if the loading is a lot on the park facing block, for example, then we don't need to go for the park facing. Maybe we can, it's okay to go for the HDB facing,
Yes.
but we be close to the MRT.
Correct.
Right. So you have the convenience, okay? Because ultimately the people that are going for the convenience here, they would probably value the convenience more than the so-called views.
Actually, we also want to know that in this area of Tampines is going to be a heartland area, it's a
Yes.
mass market area. And most of the buyers that's going to buy into Pinery are probably going to be HDB upgraders also. So we also want to understand what kind of layout will fit their needs in
Yes.
terms of when they want to upgrade.
Yeah, like
Right.
their lifestyle is going to be very important, maybe
Yes.
more important than the so-called view that we are looking at here.
Yes. So this will be our focus actually. It's not so much on view. Yes, view is important, but I would say it's not the most important. Yeah.
Okay, and then of course layout, let's go into that later.
Okay.
So this is just an illustration, if this then what, if this then what.
Yes, this is also a guide whereby next time it's not just for Pinery. You understand this, you can apply to many other projects as well. And if let's say you still are unsure and you just want reassurance from us, just feel free to text us as well, and we'll be more than willing to assist you. Moving forward. Okay, so this will be the price metrics for Pinery. We currently do not have a price indication, but we just lay it out starting from 2.45 all the way to about 2.7. We just lay it out. If today you are buying a certain unit type, you just multiply by the PSF and it should give you a rough gauge of your pricing that you're expected to pay. Okay, next.
Okay, now coming to the next question, is there an oversupply? This concern comes from the fact that there's quite a number of launches within Tampines in the last few years, right? But the deeper question here is, right, like when we talk about oversupply, what are people concerned about?
Price in future, competition.
Yeah, price and competition, right? So because if there is more supply than demand, then price might not hold up. So actually the deeper thing to look into here is there sufficient demand to support your exit, and also can they support your exit? So where is demand coming from, and are they able to afford your exit price? So now let's look deeper. Okay, fun fact, did you know that Tampines is the most populated neighborhood in Singapore?
Of course, because when we go to Tampines Mall, right, wow, it's always so many people.
Oh yeah, and there's 3 shopping malls in like Tampines Central, right? 3 big shopping malls, and it's still always crowded, always no parking one.
Okay.
So Tampines is number 1. Okay, number 2 is Bedok, which is also still very close. It's like our neighbor. Okay, then number 3 is of course Sengkang. Then number 4 Woodlands. So in this area, Tampines Bedok, there is very high population, and the population is growing. So you can see that in the last 5 years, the neighborhood is still taking in more and more people, you know. Why? Because there's actually still lots of people moving in terms of BTO and also like the new launches. There's more units and people are still moving in. Okay, and this will continue to increase. Why? Because the BTOs in the neighborhood are still coming up. Just this February, we have another BTO launch, I think about 500 plus units in Tampines also. So this population growth is likely going to continue. So in terms of demand, it's looking quite positive, right? Okay, so now let's look into in terms of nearby Pinery itself, right? There's actually a lot of HDB, like we mentioned just now. There's many different clusters, good mixture of new and old. The newest one are all here. These are all the newly MOP within this 1 or 2 years one. Okay, so in terms of price support, right? Maybe let's just take a look. Let's just take example from Green Bloom. A 4-room flat, their purchase price was about average. Let's take about 300,000, maybe 300,000. Okay, and they are selling now average. Currently, we are only talking about now, average, let's say about 750k. Okay, what is their proceeds? 450k. And don't forget the down payment, the bulk sum that have used at the start. So the CPF is going to, the bulk of it is going to come back. So their usable funds is probably around like 550k. With this kind of amount, they are able to comfortably down pay, let's take a divide by maybe 30%. They are able to afford up to comfortably up to 1.7 million worth of property. And this is, they just sell their property minus some expenses. They can already afford this. Imagine they have some savings or investments over the last 5 years or last 10 years that they have made. They are able to top up even more funds. Their budget will be higher than this, right? And then let's say the five rooms average buy-in price is about maybe 420k. Now their selling price almost close to 1 million already. Let's take 170k. How much is this? 550k. Plus their down payment maybe about 120k kind of cash value, CPF value.
Yes.
How much is this? 670k. 670k. So if I were to use this, don't top up anything else. The budget is comfortably maybe 2+ million, 2.1, 2.2 million. Okay, and these are all today's prices. Current affordability.
Yes.
If they are able to top up a bit from like maybe savings investment, the budget is going to be higher. And this is only today's prices. 4 or 5 years down the road, how much will prices
HDB
go?
appreciate also, right?
Yes, we are having record numbers of $1 million HDB. We do believe that there is still room for these HDB prices to further grow.
Yes.
So in terms of HDB upgrader affordability, I feel like it is there. Maybe not say for the super big units, but 2 to 3 bedder should be no problem.
But don't forget, all these are just HDB. There's also a huge demand from the private market itself. We actually pull out 3 mixed developments that just recently launched. Number 1 will be Seneca, Parktown, and Pasir Ris 8 that is nearby Pinery. So we can see from here, it's not just about the HDB upgraders. Actually, majority of the buyers are coming from the private market. Means to say, private upgraders is buying into all these condominiums. We also want to look at the private to support the price. Some of them, they might come from an older condominium nearby. They just want to sell and still move towards maybe a better location because all these condominiums are directly linked to MRT for convenience and etc.
Or maybe they just have been living in a 4 to 5 bedroom condo and then their children grown up and move out. Maybe they want to right size to something newer. These are all possibilities. So there are neighborhoods where HDB demand is extremely strong for the new launches there. But in this area of the east side, right, you see Tanah Merah, Pasir Ris and Parktown, which is Tampines North. The private demand is very strong also. So we cannot neglect that. We also need to look at it.
Yes.
Okay.
So with that, let's analyze also the surrounding condominiums around Pinery on whether all these condominiums are profitable enough so that they can easily afford the price of Pinery and the future price as well. Right? So we take a look. So nearby, there's Alps, there's Tapestry and Treasure Tampines. This is just
Three of the condos around.
newest and within so many condos itself, right? But we can see one thing very clearly. All the profits are very strong, are really very strong. It's highest at what? 900,000, even $1 million. So with that, it also shows one thing. All these neighbors, all these private owners, they can easily afford Pinery there, or even their future price if they want to.
Okay, so with regards to this question of oversupply, right? After all this analysis, I think we can see that actually in terms of population growth, demand, and affordability of HDB and condo owners alike, right? There is quite strong potential support for prices of Pinery, even though we are expecting probably a new benchmark PSF in terms of the selling price.
Yes.
We do see the strong potential of the future price support from all these factors as well. Okay.
So next question, will mixed development do well? So there are two real questions to answer that. Number one, what are the attributes of a successful mixed D? And number two, who are your competitors?
Okay, so to break down the answers to this question, right, let's take a look at these two projects. Sengkang Grand Residences, which is integrated at Buangkok MRT, and a few stops down, you have Woodleigh Residences at Woodleigh MRT. So from this, they both TOP around the same time. Okay, project size is about the same, 600 plus, almost 700 units. But one has performed better than the other. Being Woodleigh Residences, average profits close to 400,000 is almost 1.8 to 2 times of Sengkang Grand Residences. Average profit here is about 230,000.
Yes.
So why did one do better than the other? Let's take a look.
So for Sengkang Grand Residences, we want to see who is the competitors around. Just within 2 minutes walk.
It's like you cross one road, that kind of distance.
There's the Quartz, there's Jewel Bangkok, there's Espirina. And for Sengkang Grand, what is so special about Sengkang Grand? Why people are buying Sengkang Grand? Back then during the launch.
Convenience, same integrator, MRT, you have supermarket, you have food options.
Correct. So people are willing to pay that premium because of the unique selling point that is convenient. But not forgetting the surrounding of Quartz, Jewel and Espirina is just about 2 to 3 minutes walk. So they also actually get to experience this type of convenience, but yet they are much cheaper. Their unit size is bigger. And people around this area that is looking at private property in this area, they will definitely go to these 4 condominiums.
If the price difference is so huge and the level of convenience is not significantly more, right? Then that's why it doesn't perform as well. On the other hand, right, Woodleigh Residences has performed better. Now we look at the direct competitors of Woodleigh Residences, right? Within walking distance, of course, you also have Park Colonial. Okay, it's about 800 units. So in comparison to Sengkang Grand, right, it is 800 units versus over here is Sengkang Grand got 1,800 direct competitors around you. That's 1,000 units more than that happening at Woodleigh area. So this is why Woodleigh Residences, even though it's like so near, has done better. It's because there's actually less competition. Because definitely we know that mixed D is going to be priced more expensive than a non-mixed D, a non-integrated. But you need to understand who are your direct competitors. So if many people are able to enjoy this level of convenience without paying that much more premium, right, then definitely your potential is maybe not as high. But it's not to say you won't make money. Sengkang Grand still make money. It's just that it's not as much. It's eroded by the level of competition around you. So now if we apply this to Pinery, right, who is going to be our direct competitor? Rivelle EC.
Yeah, Rivelle EC.
Because it's just one road across. Can I say that it is a similar situation? I cross the road, I can enjoy your level of convenience already. It's not that far away. Of course, nearby we have Treasure at Tampines, but the level of convenience is not that near, quite a walk away. So the direct competition here is Rivelle EC. So of course, on the ground, a lot of people are also concerned, hey, should I be worried about Rivelle EC? It's going to be done around the same time. Okay, so actually to answer this question, right,
is when do you plan to sell your unit if you are buying Pinery? And also what kind of layouts should we be selecting so that it gives us a better position when it comes to selling as well?
So like just now we mentioned, right, Pinery, there's 2 bedders, but then Rivelle, actually there's no 2 bedders. But over here, then maybe you also need to be careful. Your 2-bedroom pricing, if it's too close to the 3-bedroom at Rivelle, then you also need to consider your holding timeline. Okay, so just as an info, right, even though both are going to TOP around the same time, 2030, but by 2030, Pinery already can start selling because SSD 4 years, right? As for Rivelle, you need to plus another 5 years for their MOP, right? So Rivelle, they are going to start selling around 2035. Okay, this is their MOP. So you have a runway of around maybe 4 to 5 years. If you find that your layout or pricing is not so advantageous against Rivelle, and you don't plan to stay long term, you actually do plan to exit within this period, then perhaps consider selling before the Rivelle units hit the market.
So for Pinery holding period from here, can we say that a good gauge if you want to buy, maybe you can hold for about 8 to 9 years?
Yeah, thereabouts.
So 4 years SSD plus another about 4 years stay before we sell and before Rivelle hit its MOP.
Okay. In terms of what are the layouts that you are picking, you also need to be very conscious. If you do plan to hold for a longer period of time, totally no problem in that, because it's everybody's lifestyle and preferences. Not everybody buy just to flip properties, right?
Yes.
So in terms of the layout, then we also need to be more selective. What Rivelle has, at least we must have. Cannot be too worse off.
Yes.
Right? So we will go into that analysis in the layout comparison, which is coming up next.
So before that, here's also our contact number. If let's say you are looking at Pinery itself or any other developments that you will require our analysis, please feel free to drop us a text. Any one of us is okay. And we are more than happy to assist you.
Yes. Thank you.
And also remember, like and subscribe.
Okay, we move on to unit type analysis. There's quite a number of layouts here.
Okay.
Let's take a look. Firstly, the smallest 2-bed, 2-bath here, 624 square feet. There's a lot of stacks. Actually, there is 10 stacks. So this is the most common 2-bed, 2-bath layout here in the project. So of course, this is a very efficient dumbbell layout. Coming in, you have your galley kitchen and then dumbbell layout, 2 sides. So very typical dumbbell layout here, 624 square feet. And because there are 10 stacks, right, actually, we need to be sensitive as to where the premiums are loaded. So if the premium is loaded, just now we mentioned, right, if it's in view, in floor, then maybe we don't go for so high floor, then we go for also non-view, but maybe closer to MRT. So maybe the stacks around here. Now, of course, depending on how the developer price.
And also one thing, why it's okay to go for a non-view facing is also because in terms of, let's say you're buying for investment, you're going to rent out. So number one, if you're going to buy a non-premium view unit, probably it's going to be much cheaper. But in terms of rentability, it's going to be the same.
Yeah, because how much more premium is a tenant willing to pay you just for a better view or a higher floor? Probably not that much. So if you're concerned about your rental yield, it's very important for you to select most value buy when looking at this layout.
Okay. Next.
These are the bigger 2-bed, 2-baths.
Bigger 2-bed, 2-bath. So there's 635 square feet and also your 667 square feet. For the 635 square feet layout, right, is that 635 square feet layout, because it's positioned at the side, means to say that there will be either your west or your east sun, because it's a north-south facing.
So the balcony...
South, east-west. So no matter what, for this unit type, right, it's either coming here, the sun, or coming here for sun.
Either morning or evening sun.
Yeah. And also for the bedroom type, for this stack itself, we don't really fancy it because this walkway is actually very long. And also
bedroom.
There's this small window here.
Yeah, usually like the units, they have your one entire wall is a window, right? But for this one, it's like half. And also the kitchen space is like, it's so open and kind of, it's combined with the dining space.
And when you come in from the door here, right?
Oh yeah, it's your
toilet. Is a toilet. Which
toilet
is,
and washer dryer.
In our opinion, is not favorable, right? It's good. Okay. Whereas for the other layout type, which is the 667 square feet, 2-bed, 2-bath, also this is a traditional layout whereby you come in, galley kitchen as well, but all the bedrooms are actually tucked at one corner. Okay, so nothing much also. Now next, we go into the 2-bed, 2-bath plus study. This is also the show flat unit type. When you go there, you can feel the space. The study feels quite spacious, and also there's a tuck away kitchen. Okay, so our top 2 choices will be which one? What's your top 2 choice?
I think it depends on where the premium is loaded. So if the premium is loaded at unit premium, right, meaning if the 2-bed plus study PSF is going to be quite a bit higher than the smaller 2-bed, 2-bath, right? Actually, I would say this smallest 2-bed, 2-bath might make the most sense. Because this, comparing to these 2 other layouts, right, these 2 layouts is slightly less efficient and yet bigger in size. You get all the offerings in this efficient dumbbell layout. Open kitchen.
Yes.
So this one, I would say, is like top choice. And then if the premium is not really there in unit mix, so if you tell me that the 700 square feet is going to be very comparable in price with the smaller 2-bed, 2-bath, right, then okay, maybe this one.
Yes.
Because you still get a bigger style and a tuck away kitchen.
Correct.
Yeah, but if premium is on unit mix, then go for the smallest 2-bed, 2-bath. I think it's good enough.
Also because, right, end day today, if you're buying for investment, you're going to rent out. If the premium is going to be so much for the plus study, right, in terms of the future when it comes to the rental, tenant is also not going to pay you a huge premiums in rental price just for
They
a
might
study.
not,
The premium could only potentially be about $200 to maybe about $300. So you got to think whether is it worthwhile to pay for this extra study. Okay. Next.
Let's go to the three
Three
bedders.
bed, 2 bath.
So the 3 bedders, there are 7 layouts. We start from the smallest one. Is the 3 bed, 2 bath. Slightly dumbbell layout. Coming in, you have a tuck-away kitchen, and then 1 bedroom here, 2 bedrooms here, a little bit of corridor space. Okay, bathroom wise, no windows. But you do have a dedicated dining space and then your balcony. Okay. So this is 807 square feet. Don't see a big issue here. Then these are your slightly bigger 3 bed deluxe. 861 square feet and 872 square feet. The difference is really just in the foyer area.
Yes.
Okay, then it's a completely traditional layout. So for this, you do have windows in your... Okay?
Yep.
Now, these are the 3 bed premiums. 3 bed premiums here, they have...
Household shelter.
Household shelter important here or not?
Yes.
Actually,
important.
quite important.
Yes. Why so? Because the surrounding are all mostly going to be upgraded also. And surrounding there's a lot of HDBs. So HDB, there's all your bomb shelter. And with this household shelter, it's going to replicate the bomb shelter. So there's a very good chance HDB upgraders will potentially be looking at this unit type if they can afford.
Yeah, okay. And then in terms of difference in size, it's 990, 121, 1012, right? But the difference in area is really mostly just in the foyer. Okay, and just one thing to note, this type C5, right? Again, the window is facing the east direction.
Yes.
Because it is this stack.
Yes.
Okay, then the other two is your normal north-south facing. So maybe just one thing to take note here.
Then we'll get the east sun, no?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, can.
And this is a 3 bed plus study, which is also the show flat unit. So the study is here in the bedroom.
Yeah.
It will really make your bedroom feel more spacious if you decide not to have the walls.
Yeah.
Otherwise, the layout is pretty similar. Okay, so when we look at this bigger unit type, right, 1055 square feet already, then again, the question is, where is the premium loader, right? Again, if the premium loaded is on unit mix, if this per square feet is much higher than your smaller 3-bedder, then like we said just now, maybe it makes more sense to go for the smaller one. So I would say that our choice unit is actually this one, 990 square feet in terms of 3-bedder. Why? Also because, right, when we look at Rivelle EC, your 3 plus study, 1055 square feet, right? Actually at Rivelle EC, because 1044 square feet, you get a full 4-bedder already. So they are, in terms of square feet, they are smaller, and yet they have one more room than you. So we have to be more sensitive in terms of the pricing here already. Okay, that's why our choice unit is the 990 square feet, whereby at least there is a bomb shelter.
Yeah, it fits the whole needs of as a family upgrader.
Yes.
Has everything what you need. For example, kitchen has window, bomb shelter, rooms are all good size.
Yeah, all got queen size, and then
proper.
kitchen got window, and closed kitchen also.
Yeah.
So this is a very efficient layout lah.
Yes.
Okay, and why actually household shelter is quite important when we look at Pinery is also because when we look at Rivelle, right, they all have household shelter and yard area. So if you don't have a household shelter, right, if it really comes to a point where you're in direct competition with Rivelle at that point of time, right, then having the household shelter will be more advantageous for you. Okay.
Moving forward for the 4-bed 2-bath, coming is a traditional layout whereby entering there's a normal kitchen, room size are all pretty sizable as per normal. But one thing to know that there's actually no household shelter, but there's this store area that is hackable. So if you were to hack this, then of course your living space becomes bigger.
Area will become bigger.
So of course 2 stacks come.
Now we look at the 4-bed plus study.
So 4-bed plus study, there's 3 types also. Number 1195, 1227, 1238. So what's the difference?
In terms of layout, it's quite similar. Size difference comes from D4 has a bigger foyer over here. Okay, and then these 2 bigger ones, they have proper household shelter.
Yep.
And then the type D2 is a storeroom and it's a smaller storeroom.
Yeah.
But it all serves as a storage space lah.
Yeah.
And
For us, our favorite.
is this D2. Why? Because you have an option to convert this storage space to just a bigger dining space. If you don't really need this storage area, again, you can hack this wall. The bomb shelter cannot hack, but this one can hack.
Correct. So imagine will be this. Imagine the space will be there.
Oh, so creative.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Can.
Okay, and where is the study? All the study is in your living room. So your living area, you can choose to enclose the space up or not. or you can just have a bigger dining area.
Yeah.
Okay, so in terms of preference, again,
We will go for the 1195. Firstly, because the size itself is a really smaller, which means there's a high chance it could be potentially be cheaper. But yet, because of the flexibility of storeroom, it gives the owners some flexibility. If they want to have a store, they can have a store. If not, they can always hack it down, make the living room bigger.
Okay, then we move on to the 4-bed luxe plus study. This is also the show unit.
Yeah, this will be just one stack in the middle, facing the premium. Of course, definitely the premium because it's facing towards inwards, pool facing.
Okay, and what's the difference? The luxe comes from having one extra toilet. You have a junior bathroom.
And walk-in wardrobe.
So the spaces are going here, and you also have kind of like a dry kitchen area here. But I think for this layout, right, because it's 1389 square feet, and a 5-bedroom is actually just about 100 square feet more, right? So in terms of, let's say the premium is not really on unit mix, right? Let's say the 4-bed PSF, this 4-bed luxe PSF is higher than the 5-bedroom PSF. In terms of quantum, actually it might make more sense to go for the bigger 5-bedroom already.
Yes.
Just go for the 5-bedroom, this one, type E1. So which is why actually for the 4-bed, right, our choice unit is the smaller one, the 4-bed plus study rather than the luxe.
Yeah, it's either you go for the 4 plus study, smallest D2, or maybe we look at the 5-bedroom straight.
And even for Rivelle EC, the 5-bedroom square feet is also 1378. Yeah, so even for Rivelle EC, right, actually the 5-bedroom there is 1378 square feet. So it's like similar situation to that just now that 3-bedder situation, right? Rivelle EC 5-bedroom is smaller in terms of size than the 4-bed luxe here. So if you are looking at this, it might make more sense to just look at the 5-bedroom.
Okay.
So in terms of what we have got here for the 4 bedrooms in Rivelle EC, actually in terms of layout, right, it's pretty similar because the study is either in a master bedroom or it's like a flexi space in the living room. So I would say the offering is same. Of course, they have yard and household shelter, and WC because EC, their layout generally is like that one.
Alright, so lastly will be the 5-bedroom luxe. So we can see that the luxe unit size is 1475 and there's only one stack. Okay, so coming in the unit is actually a landscape living room, bedrooms all very proper, very nice. There's also your walk-in wardrobe. Now, one good thing about this layout is this wall is also hackable. So you can imagine if you don't need this room, right, we can actually change, you can remove this wall and change it to put a glass and this change to a study. I think it will be very beautiful.
Yeah, you'll feel a lot more spacious also.
Yes. And also one good thing about this is that the junior master, you notice, a lot of junior master in the condominiums, always a very long walkway before you enter the master bedroom, which then is not so efficient in the layout. But for this master bedroom, junior master, it doesn't have this. It's very efficient and the toilets are all also at a very efficient place. So there's no
extra
wasted
corridor
space.
space in terms of that.
Yeah, okay, so this will be the Pinery 5-bedroom. Now, so in direct comparison to the Rivelle layout, we can see that Rivelle size itself is about 100 square feet smaller, but the layout from here has a wider living room, and all the bedroom size are all very good as well.
So in terms of the 4 and 5 bedders, right, of course we also need to look out where is the premium loading. Because if the premium loading today is not on unit mix, right, so for example, maybe the bigger units, the 4 or 5 bedder, the PSF is actually lower. So in that situation, maybe the overall quantum might actually make sense still for the bigger unit types. So of course, firstly, where is the premium loading going to be? But secondly, right, what we need to look out for is, in terms of layout-wise, the competition between Rivelle layout and Pinery layout is really there. So depending on your holding period, like we explained earlier, what your lifestyle preferences, it might make sense to be a bit more sensitive in terms of when you want to sell, your exit timing. Okay, so with that, of course, we want to conclude this whole analysis. And here's our number. The balloting day is on 26, the preview is on 14 March to 25th March, and the booking itself is on 28 March. Here's also our contact details. If you want, please feel free to reach out to us for any further analysis or more information about Pinery, or if there's any other projects, upcoming projects or existing projects that you want us to analyze for you and need our opinion, just feel free to reach out to us and we'll be more than happy to guide you also. Just for your information, Rivelle preview is actually currently ongoing until the until this weekend, and then the booking will happen. Then this weekend, Pinery preview is going to start.
Yes.
So if you wish to go down and take a look, just drop us a text also. We will just arrange the viewing slot for you too.
Yes.
Okay? Oh, do like and subscribe our channel. And we will see you in the next analysis.
Okay. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.